So you are sort of new to Blender, and you know about things like Mixamo where you can download animations, and you've learned that there's giant repositories full of what are called BVH files, but when you import those into Blender, you get strange results. So let's illustrate my point. First, make sure in Edit, Preferences, BVH is ticked. I'm in 2.9.1, I believe. Now I'm going to import the BVH. Navigate wherever yours may be that you've downloaded. Mine is in here. You import it. You hit the period key. There it is. And by default, your timeline goes to 250 or so. You hit play, and it goes kind of slow, like it's not really what you want. And then it doesn't go to the end of the animation. It kind of loops, because you can scroll through it and it keeps going, but no. So one thing you can do, you can file, import, and then scale FPS, FPS, frames per second. Did I do the right one? I'm not even sure if I clicked on the right one. That's not going to get you to your longer duration, but the speed might be better. I say might because I've had it where it doesn't. I've had it where what'll happen to me often is if I import, go back in here, and now say, I think it's that one. So I do that. And now that's updated, so I've gotten a little closer to my goal. I have the right duration, and the speed is right. Like basically, yeah, that's what I wanted. But if I do something dumb, like I import the file and I've turned, like, say, I think update scene FPS. That seems to cause issues. And now we're back to the slow motion thing. Okay, you're like, well, that's fine. Let's just go back, import, and let's turn that off. And it should theoretically work, right? And it no, it's actually still slow. So it's hit or miss, and I don't fully know why. I'm sure if I closed out the Blender, tried it again, it would probably work, but it's why? I don't know. Wouldn't it be nice if you could just, you know, if you want them slow motion, that's great. If it's a big old towering behemoth, you probably want it to go slow. But if it's not, what do? So there is one thing I found. If you go here, and I wasn't able to download this version, but I was able to download this one. This is bvhhacker.com. And this requires C++ 10. It's like I don't know if it's Visual Basic or Net Framework, something. But this is an older one. And so if you're like me and you're on Windows 10 or whatever, in the world of 2020, you're probably going to be, this one's probably going to work better for you, this beta. So I'm going to assume you know how to download things, but basically when you're done, it looks like this. You bring in your BVH. It takes a second. This one takes a second. I'm going to hit center, use my middle scroll wheel to get back. And you'll see here it says 120 frames per second. I don't know fully how this works, but after dicking around with it a bit, I realized I could go, the higher the number here, hit like 4 or whatever. If I go 1, I get the same result. But I get it up to 200 frames per second. And then I go to edit, resample to 1/2 frames. This seemed to be pretty normal. And you can play around with it. I mean, you can get some weird results. Like if you go, for example, if you just resample it a bunch without, like say get it down to 12 frames, you can see it's all kind of choppy and weird. And then if you try to bring it back, I don't know, say like 400. I don't know if you just, it'll get weird on you real quick. And what you'll end up having to do, what I had to do, is just redo it. It takes a second. Wait for it. Wait for it. Here's an example of something. Oops, that's not what I wanted. If I go to 120, say like I just wanted to get it to like 30 frames a second. It's still really slow. It didn't like fix it. And then if I go sample, now it's like 15. I don't know. It's not doing what I want to. And then, so what did I do before? I had 4, got it up to 200. I resampled it to half. And now if I play it, it's like really fast. So it matters. It's a cumulative, the reaction that you're doing. Like when you can't just change one and the other, it's not, these aren't both affecting the FPSs like in the same way. It's not like two ways to do the same thing. It's like, it's a cumulative. And so if you like take away from it, it's kind of like in Photoshop when you like scale up an image, you're like increasing the pixels. You can't now like, or say you shrink it, for example. If you shrink it and now you have less information and then you try to enlarge it again, now it looks like crud. It's similar in that way. So it's important that you do it, if you're going to do it the way I'm doing it, and I don't know that this is the best way to do what I'm doing, but it's one way, is to make sure that you do it kind of in this order of bringing it in and getting it up to its, I'm assuming these were done in like 200 frames a second. I'm not really sure, but suffice it to say, you get it up to 200 by hitting something around 4 or 5. You hit 4 or 5, and this is going to go to as high as it goes, 200, and then you're going to have it. And now you're getting a fairly normal result. Okay, enough of that nonsense. So now file, save. I already saved it, so I'm not going to save it again. But that's where I put that one. I'm going to go back into Blender. I'm going to go into File, Import, BVH. I'm going to untick all this stuff. You will probably still want that on if this is the first time you're doing this. But you will notice that when I bring in the normalized one, it doesn't change the duration. So once this duration gets enlarged, if I can make up words, it'll stay that way. And it should be at a fairly normal speed. So again, I don't know if this is the best way to do it, but it's a way to do it. And at some point, I'd like to see someone, if not me, take all these and create a Mixamo for them, a visual representation. I might try to do that, but that's for a whole other day. I'll put it on my website or something. I don't know. Or maybe I'll use Blender for Web, which is a cool thing where you can actually make websites with Blender. So yeah. All right, man. Hopefully this helped you in some way, shape, or form. You can like, subscribe, or whatever people do these days. I don't even know. Maybe